next 9 episodes, they are seen doing nothing but. Their ability to skim across city streets, highways, and outrunning even high-speed bullet trains makes their value in getting the rescue Zords to the battlefront essential. However, it is not until episode 10 that we come to realize that they are much more than boxy carriers. Each rail rescue shares its appearance in general with real train cars and real locomotive engines. For example, Rail Rescue 1 represents a steam locomotive. And they all have really nice detail, not just the carved details. Let me find some. Okay, the carved details here and along here, but also the decals have quite a bit of details on them. And just so you don't know who the Rail Rescue belongs to, yeah, it belongs to Red Ranger, so yeah. The back also has a little bit of detail on it. That's pretty nice. Top is kind of bland. Bottom's actually pretty nice. There's Rail Rescue 1. Rail Rescue 2 represents a subway car, although it's blocky and generic enough that you could imagine it to be any number of things. So, different details on the back. Some careful study reveals the bottom is also different. There are subtle differences between Rail Rescues 1 and 2. You know, obviously the front, minor differences in between them, but they both share these PVC antenna, which were bent on mine when I got it shipped. That is Rail Rescue 2. Rail Rescue 3 represents a modern-day diesel locomotive engine. Again, nice detail. It's a bit of an oddball of the group in that both the front and the back have a cockpit, and the front and back also have these, I don't know what these are, these little laser pointer protrusion thingies. I'm not quite sure what those are. And also, you know, it's not a perfect rectangle. It's got these boxy protrusions along the side. So that's what makes it the oddball of the group. Oh yeah, the other thing is, it doesn't launch its rescue Zord from the side, it actually launches it from the top. One of the things I don't like about this door is, look how flat it is. There's nothing to grab onto. If you push this all the way down, and you have to for the transformation, of course, the only way you can get it up is through friction. So anyways, yeah. There's one little thing in here. The nice thing about this is there's detail along both the inside of the door and on the inside here. Now there's two other things that make Rail Rescue 3 kind of interesting. One is, you can see the, the Green Ranger's kind of rounded triangle right there, along with the number 3. And this, that light is really positioned conveniently. This, I have no idea what that's for. Aero Rescue 3 doesn't take advantage of it. It's just a big old hole. It's almost a whole inch deep. It's like, I don't know, it's like 3/4 of an inch deep or something like that. I can't figure out what it's for. I don't think it was for manufacturing, and no other set released in the line interacts with this. So, yeah. Like I said, Rail Rescue 3 is the oddball of the group. There seems to be some disagreement as to what exactly Rail Rescue 4 and 5 are supposed to be. The closest answer I've gotten for this is that it is a commercial passenger train engine. So, as opposed to a freight engine, it would be for, you know, like the front of an Amtrak or a high-speed train. That's what this would be for. And again, details which are different from Rail Rescues 1 and 2. Is Rail Rescue 4. And last but not least is Rail Rescue 5, which, honestly, I haven't been able to find a solid answer for this. And you have to realize that the descriptions for these as to what kind of train engine they are, they don't say that in the show. You know, you're just supposed to look at it and, oh, look, it's a train. Oh, look, they're different from each other. And there seems to be some debate as to what exactly Rail Rescue 5 is supposed to be. If you've ever seen the James Bond movie GoldenEye, you know, with Pierce Brosnan, and it was like 91, 92, something like that when it came out. Anyways, there's a Russian armored train engine that appears in there, trust me, and the prow of it looks an awful lot like that. Very pointed, very angular, very almost Darth Vader-like appearance in the front. One little odd thing about Rail Rescue 5 is that, unlike the other 4, where the little PVC things slip in and out, this one is actually made of ABS. They're not colored, and you can push them in like that. Something else, Rail Rescue 5 sits at the back of the super train arrangement, and there are no other cars on the back, so why is it got another hook back there? in case they just decide to put 5 at the front of the super train. I don't know. But anyways, there are the 5 rail rescues. Now for the common features of the rail rescues, there's a couple of them. One, they all have black ABS wheels, which will only roll on a smooth, flat surface. Carpet, probably not. Stone, definitely not. All 4 of them have these, I don't know, these little antenna protrusion thingies here, which can be easily retracted, except on Rail Rescue 5, which I just showed you. And then, of course, there is the internal bay. Rail Rescues 1, 2, 4, and 5 have this. Pull this out. And yes, the ramp can actually go down, so you can actually drive your rescue Zords on and off just as easily. But the ramp is detailed. The interior as well. Now, Rail Rescues 1 and 2 don't have it, but 4 and 5 have little, what are they called, chocks that sit in the back that'll hold the back wheels in position for Has Rescue 4, Med Rescue 5. So, yeah. Otherwise, the floor design has the details, but the interior does not. So anyways, yeah, those 4 share that. They fit in easily enough. Sometimes it's a little difficult to get the doors all the way open, but oh well. Here's something interesting, though. Rail Rescue 5 has a hook on the back, even though it's the back of the engine. Well, Rail Rescue 1 has a hook on the front. I don't know why, but it does. It's nice that they, you can push these in, but these things here, on the other hand, they just get in the way all the time, especially when you try and articulate the train back and forth. They just bump into each other. Wait, articulate the train? What are you talking about? Well, I'm talking about this. Unfortunately, my bedroom is not capable of accommodating the fully assembled super train mode, so I'm going to have to move into the hallway downstairs, which explains why my voice is so echoey all of a sudden. Just like in the show, the 5 rail rescues hook and clip together to form the super train mode. I would have said train mode, but I thought it was called the Super Train Megazord. Anyways, you can imagine the arguments taking place all over Japan in 1999 in households where the kids were buying these things and putting together these 55-inch long trains, and the parents arguing with them, it's too big, it won't fit in the house. The parents rolling their eyes and plugging their ears as this thing's going by them. The transformation for Rail Rescues 1 and 2 is more or less the same. There's a hole in the bottom here, but that's just, just to make space for things as it's moving around. And there's a hole in the back here. Well, you could use friction to pull this out, or you could reach in and push it out. That's how you get the little hook out, by the way. See, there's the hook right there. Yeah, you can't really see it, but anyways, yeah, there it is. The alternative is to just start the transformation process. See, that happens so fast. So you push that in, and this gap, or this space in here, pushes these out. And then you just complete the runaround. Snaps there, and then take the whole nose section off, and you stick it on the left side of the train. This is usually the front, so it's on the left side. Rail Rescue 2, push these in carefully. I think people have actually broken these off. Same with these. And the same thing, push in on that. That'll pop out for you. Snap that in, blah, blah, blah. Now this time, here's the front. Detach the nose section, and you're going to put it onto the right side this time. Most of the time I just leave these in anyway, so yeah. And the transformation for 4 and 5 is relatively simple. Of course, with Rail Rescue 5, I just leave them out when they're not transforming. And of course, Rail Rescue 3 is the odd one of the bunch. So now you've got 4 of these things you have to deal with. Anyways, look at that. It just goes way up there, snaps in place. How about that? And then, now let's put it all together. In case you haven't noticed, this is one of those rare occasions for Power Rangers Megazords where the red Zord is not in the center. There's red on the center Zord, but it's not actually in the center position. And then, something like that. Not entirely confident with the way those snap in position like that. See, it just pulls down, snap in place. Not very inventive, but oh well. This is the inventive part, though. Mr. LaForge, take us to warp. And there you have the... Ooh, we gotta pull way back this time. I can't end the video until I get it in frame. Or at least make an ass of myself and have to do the whole damn thing all over again. The Super Train Megazord. There has never been a bigger combining Megazord in name than the Super Train Megazord. This came out in 2000. Here it is 2010. Never been bigger. Which could combine. That also makes this the first combining carrier that can carry Zords inside of it, regardless of which mode it is, but that has individual components. No carrier has... This is a carrier Zord, ladies and gentlemen. It might not say it in the name, but it is a carrier Zord. And they haven't done that since 2000. They didn't do it before 2000 either. Here it is 2010. They haven't done it before or since the Super Train Megazord came out. So that is impressive. Now, people have been asking in a couple of my other reviews, so I guess I gotta cover it. How big is the Super Train Megazord? Well, I already went over how long it is, but how tall is it? Well, it is 15.5 inches tall, which makes it huge. Now, if you think about it, the Deluxe Lightspeed Megazord is only 9 inches tall. Ordinarily, carriers are big, but when this is really small and this is really big, the difference is exaggerated quite a bit. But, you know, when you're comparing it against a 9-inch Megazord, that doesn't really make much sense. How about something a little bigger? Biggest by internal volume, stick that way over here, has still got to go to the reigning champion Deluxe Paramidas, the Carrier Zord from 1996's Power Rangers Zeo, which is the tallest Power Rangers toy I've got. Actually, let's show their feet a little. There you go. Paramidas is the tallest Power Rangers toy I've got. Well, you can't stop there. How about the heaviest? For you who live in the US, you knew about this toy. It just never came over. For Japanese audiences, however, you got this monstrosity in 2002. I don't know the full name of it, but it is the Revolver Mammoth from 2002's Ninpu Sentai Hurricaneger, aka 2003's Power Rangers Ninja Storm. I got this and you didn't. The heaviest I have by far. It is heavier than some of the Clusterfuck Megazords I've got. What do you say to that? Oh, you want to know the creepy thing? Ironically, this is not the heaviest or biggest toy I've got. I've actually got bigger. A whole lot bigger. Unfortunately, it's buried in that walk-in closet right there. In case you're wondering what that is, that's where I store the boxes for my toys. You will not look in there because I've got my laundry in there. Anyways, the biggest toy I've got ever is the G.I. Joe Space Launch Complex, which is thoroughly buried in boxes, and you guys will probably never see me review it, ever. But just trust me that it's in there, okay? I got this and you didn't. Get you out of here. Now, what I don't have is a Deluxe Delta Command Megazord. I also do not have a, what was it called? Deluxe Mezzodon Megazord. I don't have either of those, so I can't compare them, but I'm pretty sure the Delta Command Megazord might stand taller. In fact, I'm pretty sure it does. And the Mezzodon Megazord is a little shorter, I think. So, yeah, there's my comparison of biggest and smallest. But enough about stats. Let's talk about the toy already, huh? I took like a minute and a half to do this whole wraparound shooting sequence where, you know, I do this thing and, oh, look at all these details, blah, blah, blah. But it just didn't turn out right. So I'm just going to show you the few new details that show up in this mode. Most notably, the head, which is actually pretty sweet. If you can get past the horns on it. And, by the way, they painted the back of the head. That's awesome. Articulation, not much to speak of. It's got a couple extra positions. So you've got 2 positions between 0 and 90. That's nice. And here comes the awesome part, okay? And this is one of those things... Oh, I might as well demonstrate it. This is one of those things that was completely unnecessary. It's not involved in the transformation. It doesn't hold any weapons, and yet, you know, there it is. Hello? Thank you, Bandai. Thank you, Plax. We needed that. That was awesome, by the way. No sarcasm. I'm dead serious. Thank you for giving this to us. It's, you know, you get either a big bashing fist, or you get a hand and you get to be a little expressive with it. Thank you. I like that. Now, next time, turn the head. You know, there's no reason this couldn't have turned. Elbows, yeah, you couldn't really do elbows, because believe it or not, this is actually designed to have the Rescue Zords inside when it's in Super Train Megazord mode. In fact, the only reason I'm not doing right now is because the shoulder joint in this arm is not quite what it used to be 10 years ago, and so the weight of Aqua Rescue 2 started dropping it down. So, you're just going to have to trust me on that. And unfortunately, no leg articulation, even though officially they can twist, or unofficially they can twist. You're not really supposed to do it, but like I said earlier, I don't really trust the connection points there, so that's not really an option. And because you can see that bar in there keeps the knees together, you can't open or close these, so that's not an option either. You can't even cheat with it. So that's pretty nice. That's pretty awesome. So Ava, you tell me this thing doesn't carry any weapons in its hands. Does it have any weapons at all? Well, actually it does. I want to say it was called the Gatling Blaster. I didn't watch much of the show, but the Rail Rescue ones, the front here, the end cap, whatever you want to call it, will spin around and this becomes a giant laser fire blaster thingy, hence Gatling. And then on this side, little tab up front here, and you get the missile launcher right there, which again can be used for the Gatling Blaster attack thingy. Or just in case the local volcano decides to erupt prematurely, it's got freeze missiles inside. Sounds pretty convenient to me. Now, the Super Train Megazord is known for its power instability issues, much like the evil Zord Serpentera in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Seasons 2 and 3. So these two boxy weapons can actually be deployed in two different ways. You can either deploy it in the Gatling attacker formation, or take these off, reattach them. Yeah, see, I told you the shoulder joint was weak. And that's without a Zord inside. Or you can do it this way, which is the turbine laser, turbine blaster attack, like this. And doesn't really look all that great. So yeah, just keep them up here, and you'll do fine. Why are you looking at my shirt? You're not supposed to be looking at my shirt. You're supposed to be looking at the toy. Get in there. Yeah, get in there. Now you can look at me failing epically on YouTube. So, yeah. That's all the features of the Deluxe Super Train Megazord. It's huge, and it's pretty awesome. You remember back in my video review of the Deluxe Lightspeed Megazord where I said that it doesn't have the little tow cables, little magnetic grappling cables down here, so you have to kind of use your imagination on that. And then I showed you that Pyro Rescue 1 lifted into the air, and then as it's dangling there, the transformation will begin. Well, you know what? Plex actually came up with a solution to that problem. Ordinarily, kids can, just hang on to Pyro Rescue 1 and Air Rescue 3 and then attempt to transform this as you're holding it up here. No easy task. I tried to film it that way a couple times and it just got all jumbled. It was crap. Anyways, yeah, I doubt the kids could do it any better than me. Or maybe they could because I'm old and fat. Anyways, yeah, they could do it that way. Or you can use what the Deluxe Super Train Megazord set provided in the form of this crane claw. Now, I say it's a claw because it's hinged a little. You bend it inward, it snaps apart. See? It's designed to snap apart. Anyways, it's got nice detailing on the inside and the outside. Nothing terribly inspired, but what are you supposed to do with this? Well, you see those two tabs here and here? There's two corresponding holes on either side, and these little bars are actually meant to go in and out. Snap that on there. Nice. And then you take primarily Pyro Rescue 1, and you just slip it in there. Now, unfortunately, and this is actually the only part of this whole arrangement that I don't like, aside from the fact that they're not using cables, is that Pyro Rescue 1 slides in and out very easily. There's nothing to lock it in place. What you end up doing is gripping the sides, hanging onto it the whole time. Now, even though there are little grooves on the bottom of the claw, or whatever it is, the kind of fingers, the only way you can position it is if Pyro Rescue 1's wheels are inside the first set of grooves there. And again, it will fall out. So even though it's not ideal, kids can still recreate the transformation sequence where this comes down and kind of like it does in the show. They can do that. So that's pretty nice. Thank you for giving that to us, Bandai America. It is appreciated, even if it doesn't work just like that. Wait a minute. Something doesn't feel right here. Oh, I know. Yeah, better. In 1990, when I originally saw this toy, I actually wasn't all that thrilled with it. It was big, and it was blocky. It had simplified transformations, although a lot of previous Zords have had simple one- or two-step transformations. But, I don't know, just something didn't feel good about this, and certainly not enough for me to get one. And as I've addressed in several previous video reviews, I'm not a big fan of block formers. Now, these aren't really the definition of a block former because they do change. Like I said, 2 changes per minimum, but there was too little movement, too little transformation process except in the torso for me to really get attached to it. It's also a big, blocky thing. Like, you could make this thing out of cardboard for some cosplay or something. And I'm sure some people have, both in the US and in Japan, where this originally came from. But in the years following 2000, I started to overlook those things, and I realized the biggest one being it's a multi-component carrier, which we've never seen before. And it's also used semi-regularly in the series, as opposed to your standard carrier Zord, which is only whipped out when a finisher is needed. This isn't used for any combinations, unless you want to count sticking the individual rescue Zords inside, but it is still a carrier Zord that's used more frequently than others. And I can't really discredit it for that, because, as we all know, carrier Zords pwn. Obviously, posability is a bit of an issue when you get into the deluxe-sized Megazords, as opposed to the 3-inch action figures, which have action features and crap articulation, I think. But it was really nice to see articulated figures, even if they're not individual. And, you know, even if it doesn't hold anything in the series, or that comes with this set, but it was still nice to have. And, of course, this is a cheat because of the transformation process, but still, nice to have, you know? May not have been intentional, but, there it is. And why can't we ever get an articulating neck? Why is that so difficult? I mean, the head doesn't go up and down, it doesn't shift side to side, it doesn't do anything transformation. All that happens is that, and that's it. So, they gotta do something. The legs, I can kind of understand. Proportions, yeah, it's a bit of an issue. But, yeah, articulation's a little lame, but we've all come to expect it and dislike it every time, so, oh well. Although I suppose they compensated in some small way by providing that crane arm claw thingy that could be attached to the bottom of Air Rescue 3. Which was a nice thing to have, by the way. And, again, wasn't necessary, but they gave it to us because it mimics what happens in the show. So that was nice to have. And now, for those of you wondering what the differences are between the Deluxe Super Train Megazord and its original Japanese counterpart, the DX Renketsu Gatai Grand Liner from the 1999 Super Sentai series QQ Sentai Go-Go 5, I have good news. They are perfectly identical to each other. Yeah, this decal came off before I got it. But otherwise, perfectly identical. Materials, decals, paint applications, everything was just spot on. So, yay to Bandai America. And by the way, thank you Bandai America for even giving this to us. You know, this thing was huge. You didn't have to, but you did. That was nice. Thank you. Yeah, you could pay $60, $70 plus shipping and handling to get a Grand Liner, or you can get this for just $50 with shipping and handling. Nice. Unless you absolutely must have that Japanese box, in which case, I can't advise you on that. A couple of quick notes before I close this out. Once again, I'd like to pass my special thanks on to Sable Eye Fan, aka Andrew, for selling this to me. At age 18, his parents were insisting that he get rid of all his toys, so make sure you send some love his way, because it really tore him apart to have to sell these things. But I informed him they would find a good home with me, and that I would show them great respect when I did the reviews. As a matter of fact, he's conveyed to me that the Super Train Megazord was his favorite of the 4. I hope I did it justice, Andrew. And once again, from one aspect to another, you rock. And the other note is this. The staff of CollectionDX.com, and anime.collectiondx.com for that matter, have certain niches that they cover. Some cover vinyl only, some cover Gunpla, some cover figures, some cover Chogokin, some cover Macross, some cover Transformers. There's a lot of cross-compatibility between the niches, but we managed to get along with each other just fine. However, once in a great while, an argument will come up regarding who covers what. You know, Macross Valkyries cross into Transformers because of Jetfire, or because they simply are generic Transformers. Soul of Chogokin frequently crosses lines between anime series and just jumbos and things like that. There's there are little issues like that that crop up once in a while. And of course, I'd be lying if I said that I hadn't gotten into a couple of these as well. Stuff I wanted to cover that somebody else wanted to cover, they won out. Stuff that they wanted to cover that I won out. Usually the person who has seniority in the genre covers it. For example, there's a couple of reviewers who regularly review the Macross toys. Those Origin of Valkyrie reviews that I covered in 2009, that's the only Macross I've ever covered, and chances are that will be the only Macross that I ever get to cover. So, yeah, even though I'd like to, you know, expand into, say, Gundam, Soul of Chogokin, Macross, generally speaking, I can't because, well, I'm the Super Sentai guy, I'm the Transformers guy, I'm the Evangelion guy, I'm the Lego guy. Those are my niches on the site. And so in 2009, another one of these little scenarios cropped up. A little light bulb went off over my head. So I quickly emailed Josh, and I said, hey, I got an idea. On Collection DX, we cover an item 3 different ways. Text and photos, and then video once in a while, if someone has the capacity for video. And I said to Josh, you know, what if one person does the text and photos on CollectionDX.com proper, and then somebody else does the video review of the exact same toy on YouTube? How do you think that would work out? That way, 2 people who are in conflict could cover the same item. Josh said, you know what, that's actually a good idea. Believe it or not, there are actually a couple of videos as of the making and publishing of this one that I haven't finished, because we just haven't had the opportunity to actually go forward with it. So the Deluxe Super Train Megazord is something of an experiment to see how CDXers and YouTubers react to two different people reviewing the exact same item. And so for the first time ever, I will be covering the video aspects of the Deluxe Super Train Megazord, and Josh B already reviewed the text and pictures on CollectionDX.com. So when you're done watching this video, make sure you head on over to CollectionDX.com and take a look at the detailed pictures and text that he has done. And if enough people like this arrangement, we may do it more often in the future. So this little experiment that we're running will all depend on your reaction to it. Say you want us to do more of it, say you don't want us to do more of it, and stay consistent. One person reviews one thing all the time. We'll be waiting for your answer.